There are 5 secrets in Stephen Krassen's theory that can make your English learning process 10 times more effective, and most importantly, one of them is lowering your affective filter, that mental barrier mode of fear and anxiety. Want to know the other 4 secrets? Stay tuned! Before we talk about the theory, first we have to know who is Stephen Krassen. Stephen Krassen is a well-known American linguist and educational researcher who has made a great contribution to the field of second language acquisition. He was born in 1941 and worked as a professor at the University of Southern California. Krassen developed several important theories about how people learn language, which are known together as a monitor model. His ideas have influenced language teaching all around the world. He believes that people learn languages most effectively when they focus on understanding meaning, not just studying grammar. So good morning everyone, my name is Stella Chocolate Anawa and my student ID number is A1M224043. Today I'm going to present my material about Krassen's acquisition learning hypothesis. Before I begin, I would like to briefly explain why this topic is important. Understanding how people acquire and learn a language helps teachers and students improve the way they teach and study English. So, in my presentation, I will explain the main idea of Krassen's theory in a simple way and show how it can be applied in language learning. Let's begin. The acquisition learning hypothesis is one of Stephen Krassen's most famous ideas about how people learn language. He said that there are 2 different ways to develop language ability. The first is acquisition, which happens naturally, just like how children learn their first language. It's when we pick up language by understanding usage and using it in real communication without worrying too much about grammar rules. Second is learning, which is a conscious process. This happens when we study grammar, memorize vocabulary, and focus on language rules. Krassen believes that acquisition is the key to fluency, while learning only helps us check or edit our language when we have time to think. Thank you, that's all from me, and the next theory will be presented by my friend.
Hi everyone, I'm Windy Hasnur Safitri with official number A1M22407 and 6. I will discuss about Stephen Krassen's the monitor hypothesis. Krassen explained that we learn language in 2 ways. First, acquisition, namely acquiring language naturally through conversation and listening. Second, learning, namely learning grammar rules consciously. Well, the monitor is the part of the brain that uses the results of grammar learning to check and correct our sentence. For example, when we say she go to school every day, then realize and correct it to she goes to school every day. She goes to school every day. And then that means we are using a monitor. However, the monitor can only function if 3 conditions are met. First, we have enough time to think. Second, focus on language form. And 3, know the correct rules. And then Krassen also divides monitor users into 3. First, over user, who focus too much on grammar to speak slowly. Second, under user, who runs smoothly but has lot of error. And third, optimal user, which is a balance between smooth and precise. And in conclusion, grammar is important, but don't let it hinder communication. So use language naturally and let the monitor help only when needed. I think that's all from me. Thank you for watching and listening. Bye bye.
Okay, the next theory is the input hypothesis. Hello everyone, I'm Michelle, and today I'd like to explain one of Stephen Krassen's famous ideas, the input hypothesis. Previously, we discussed the monitor hypothesis, and this theory is actually connected to it. Now let's see how language input help us learn better. The input hypothesis explains that people acquire a second language when they receive understandable input. This means the language we listen to or read should be mostly clear, but still include a few new and challenging elements beyond what we already know. Creation describes this with the formula A plus 1, where A is our current level of understanding and the plus 1 represents the next step, something slightly more advanced that help us grow. For example, imagine you already understand simple English sentence like she likes apples. Then you watch a short video where someone says she has liked apples since she was a child. Even if you don't know the phrase has liked, you can still guess its meaning from the context. This shows that learning happens naturally through exposure. Another example is when a student listens to English song. They might not understand every single lyrics, but they can still grasp the overall meaning or message. By doing this regularly, their vocabulary and comparison improve over time without needing to focus on every grammar rule. In the classroom, teachers who apply this theory encourage students to focus on meaningful communication rather than perfect grammar. The idea is to increase language input through reading, listening, and interaction in real-life context. The more meaningful input we receive, the more naturally we can produce language ourselves. In short, when learners are often exposed to understandable English through the books, conversation, or media, they will begin to speak and write more fluently and confidently. Good input produces good output. That's all about the input hypothesis. It helps us understand how receiving meaningful and slightly challenging input allows language learning to develop step by step. Next, my friend will explain another hypothesis from Stephen Krashen. So, stay tuned!
Hi everyone, let's talk about a powerful idea in language learning, the affective filter hypothesis by Stephen Krashen. Have you ever known the answer but froze up when asked to speak? It might not be about your ability. It could be your affective filter. So, what is affective filter? Krashen says emotion can block language learning. The affective filter is like an invisible wall between what you hear and what your brain processes. When you are relaxed and confident, the filter is low and you absorb language naturally. But when you are anxious or afraid of making mistakes, the filter goes up and that input bounces right off. So the real life example is in a safe, supportive classroom, your affective filter stays low and language flows in. But in a tense environment or when you fear being judged, your filter rises and learning slows down. The good news, the filter isn't fixed. Teacher can lower it by being encouraging. Learners can help themselves by staying calm and embracing mistakes. Remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about being open. Two learners with the same skill can progress differently, all because of emotion. So, language learning isn't just mental, it's emotional. So, stay kind to yourself, be brave, and keep your affective filter low. That's how real learning flows. That's all from me, and thank you for watching.
Hello everyone, my name is Wadana Maisara. My official number is A1M224075. And today I will present about the natural order hypothesis. So, what is the natural order hypothesis? The hypothesis was introduced by Stephen Krashen, one of the most influential linguists in the second language construction. He explained that when a person learns a language
Their brain follows a natural, predictable sequence in acquiring grammatical structure. In other words, language is not learned randomly but step by step in a fixed order regardless of how it's taught in school. The natural order hypothesis consists of several important points. 1. Fixed order of acquisition. Learners usually access grammar rules in a certain order, and this order cannot be changed simply by different teaching and techniques. For example, English learners tend to learn basic declarative sentence first before being able to use question or subordinate clause. Simple sentence, they play football. More advanced, they play football after school because it helps they healthy. 2. Not based on complexity. Interestingly, the order of learning does not always reflect how easy or difficult it is. 2. Not based on complexity. Interestingly, the order of learning does not always reflect how easy or difficult or rules seems. Sometimes a structure that looks more complex is occurs earlier. For instance, many learners use the present continuous, like I'm studying before they consistently use the simple past tense, such as I studied yesterday, even though past tense before make ever simpler. In conclusion, the natural order hypothesis shows that language learning is not a random process. Grammar is occurs a systematic and predictable way, following the natural processing order the human brain. This means that the sequence of acquisition is more important than the sequence of instruction. Okay everyone, that's all for my explanation. I hope it's clear and useful. Thank you for your attention.